At 11, two Maryland men are accused of shooting into a home and lighting a car on fire. This happened on Fenwick Island in Delaware, but the night started in Ocean City. Police say Andre J. Blakeney and Finis A. Miles offered four women a ride home from the bar Seacrets. The women felt uncomfortable, so they asked to be let out before their address. When they eventually got home, they saw one of the men walk to the front door and heard a loud bang. Police later found bullet holes in the house and a Jeep on fire. The two men faced several charges, including arson and criminal mischief.
Hey guys, so I was just scrolling through my hold on a second. I'm trying to laugh. This is your girl Samantha from Black Nation News, and I was just scrolling through my news feed that I have for Google, where I catch usually all my news headlines that come up, and I saw this story about these degenerates, and this is my degenerate black male segment that I'm going to start. I'm going to start a whole series because I'm hearing too many stories about black males who are attacking women. I don't know if they were black women. I mean, I don't know if it even really matters. I just think it's really troubling that someone thinks that they have such a right to you that they can attack you, which sometimes actually leads to death, can become fatal, and they went on to even torch their car, and that's really disturbing. So I tried to look for more information on this. I couldn't find additional info, so I'm just going to read here. They said Delaware State Police said two Maryland men were arrested and charged Friday after they shot into a house in Fenwick Island, Delaware. Police also found a car on fire outside the house. And this was reported, I guess, 18 hours ago. It's coming from WJZ 13 CBS Baltimore, because apparently this incident started in Ocean City and then ended in Delaware because the women tried to get. So I guess the guys felt like the women owed them something because they gave them a ride home, and then the women started to feel uncomfortable as they got closer to their home. So they probably did feel like the women used them, but that doesn't give you a right to shoot them. Like, just because you give someone a ride doesn't mean you're entitled to their body. Doesn't mean you're entitled to having sex with them. The entitlement, black males, has to stop. So I'm going to dedicate a whole segment called Degenerate Black Male Behavior series just to highlight these types of problems, in hopes that women can be a little bit more careful when we're out and about. Do not accept rides from strangers. Do not accept rides from guys. Even if you met them at the club, you think you know them, you don't. I'm even afraid to take an Uber. So that's how paranoid I am. But, just back in the day when I used to go clubbing, it was a long time ago, you got to make sure you go with your girlfriends. Make sure you have your own car. Stick together. Do not separate for any effing reason. Like, every time I watch an IDTV episode of a girl getting murdered, like raped and murdered, and it's always the case where she somehow got separated from her friends, whether they left her there because she was just having so much fun, she didn't want to leave yet, so they left. And this girl, I'm like, give me a break. Like, your friend is like high, like as a kite. She's drunk. She's probably taking some drugs, some opioids, ecstasy, something. And you think it's a really bright, grand idea to leave her amongst all these horny ass men who are also probably intoxicated and not dealing with the full deck. So it's just a stupidity. And I hate when people say, oh, don't do victim blaming. It's not about being victims, like blaming victims. It's more about like being angry, because I'm like, you're putting yourselves in these situations that can get you killed, that can have you be harmed in some way. And I feel like their big sister or like a mother figure, where I'm trying to tell these girls, like, do not do these things, because this is what's going to happen. And for me, it's common sense. I don't know if it was the way my parents raised me and told me certain things, like the things they taught me, or if it was just like watching movies and kind of like just using my own ideas to try to keep myself safe and my friends safe. So for instance, if I went clubbing with my girlfriends, like we always stayed together. You always had minimum at least one girlfriend with you. Never ever separate ever and be just by yourself, because you may think I'm being dramatic, but it can happen that quickly that a guy snatches you up and takes you out of the club and you're gone forever. And, couple that with the woman possibly being intoxicated, like drinking or something like that. So for me, I never drank when I was out with my girlfriends. I actually was a DD, or also known as a designated driver. I really don't hear that phrase anymore. I guess either because I'm not going out anymore like I used to when I was younger, or because we have Uber and Lyft. Maybe people don't need DDs because they're like, I can just call an Uber. I don't know. But back in my days, we had the designated driver. I was always that person because I'm like, I really didn't consider myself like, I hate driving. So I never really considered myself to be the driver. It was more like I want to keep an eye on things, so somebody has to be sober. So while my friends were getting shit-faced and having a good time, which is great, that's why we went out, that was the point of it, I was like their little bodyguard, keeping an eye out, keeping my head on a swivel, making sure, nobody was getting snatched up and taken away into the night. And, it's not really about victim shaming, because it is full of crap that women live in a society where we are constantly having to be on alert, because we're basically constantly like under attack. Like I feel like at any given moment, it can go wrong. It could go wrong. And my ex-husband, he said I should open like a security business up because I'm so like on high alert. And I wouldn't say like I'm overly paranoid. It's just more like these are the things I know that I have to do as a woman, because guys are creeps. So like, say for instance, I get in my car at night, you need to check your back seat, make sure there's no one back there hiding, waiting for you. It's just like little stuff like that black, I guess like men, I was going to say black men, but like just men in general don't have to worry about. So they're not even thinking about that shit. So like if they're out with you, they're just like, why are you being so paranoid, blah, blah, blah. You try having a vagina and walking around for a day and see how much you get hit on. See how many guys call you out of your name because you don't want to respond because you're scared of them or you're not interested. It's like, gosh forbid, I don't want to talk to you. And I remember like when street harassment became like a thing, I would say like 10 years ago or something. I remember a lot of black males were like, oh, they're just trying to put men in jail. They're trying to put black men in jail. Blah, 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 blah. And to me personally, I'm like, well, if you aren't street harassing, it shouldn't be a problem. Like, so you're basically telling on yourself. You're basically worried that you're going to be catcalling a female who's minding her damn business, and you're going to be in jail because of it, because you're harassing her, because it's never really as innocent as it seems. It's like it never goes well when it starts out. Like, I'll give you guys my scary story. I have plenty. I have so many. My first one that I can remember was when I was younger. I was like a teenager and I went out clubbing with my sister. No, was I with my sister? I went with some my girlfriends. It may have been just like my friends from high school. I can't remember exactly. It was a long time ago. Like, yeah. So we're just out clubbing and then we leave. And this happened like almost every single time we went clubbing. There's always guys just hanging outside the club, like just leaning against the wall. I don't know if they were just like broke and couldn't afford to get in the club, so they just wait for the club to close for girls to come out, or if they were clubbing there all night and just waiting to try to get with somebody, get some sex and get with somebody before the night was over because they couldn't get anyone during the night. I have no clue where these guys like came up from under, like what rock they came up from under, because I don't remember seeing them. I really wasn't paying much attention to them, so I didn't really remember seeing them in the club, so I don't know if they were coming out too or where they came from. And I remember my friends and I, we'd just be walking to our car after a night of having fun, trying to have a night out and a good time and minding our business. And yes, we looked adorable. We were looking cute. So of course we know we're going to get male attention. But, it's like you don't have to become an aggressive psycho. So of course like guys would be like, hey girl, hey, da da da, like calling out to us, and then we'd be like, oh, no, thank you. Like, they'd be like, can I get your number, et cetera, et cetera. And I just remember, like, the first time a guy cat called me, and I was just like, no thanks, you know what, I have to go. Because it was late, and I'm like, I have to get home. I was young, too. I was probably too young to be out. But anyway, we're not going to give the age. But, yeah, so I was out and having my, enjoying my life like I should be able to in a perfect world. And, so the guy called me out my name, and he called me the B word. And I was like, wow, like, okay, like, that was a bit much. Because you're thinking to yourself, like, I wasn't a B 2 minutes ago when you were trying to holler at me, so whatever. So, it just showed me at that very young age of, like, my beginning of, like, being an adult, just how fast it can go wrong. It went from you trying to holler at me to you're calling me the B word. You're calling me out of my name. And even when you're in the club, it was a lot of guys grabbing at you, grabbing your arm. Hey, girl, come here, da-da-da. And I remember just having to, like, fight to keep my girlfriends with me so that I wouldn't lose them. I didn't want to see them on the news the next day because we lost sight of one of them and the guy raped her and killed her or something. And so I would be, like, literally getting into arguments sometimes with some of the guys because they'd be like, man, you're cock blocking, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I don't care. That's my girlfriend. That's my life. You're not going to take her from me. And I don't fucking know you. I don't really care what you have, what you want to do. Go find somebody else to do this with. It's not my problem. You're not doing it. You're not doing whatever degenerate, perverse behavior you have in mind with my friend or my family member. We will not do that. And I didn't give a shit, and if I had to call security or fucking knock him upside the head with a bottle, I don't know what I had to do, but I always won. I always got my girlfriend back or my sister back or whoever I was with, and we would get through another night without anyone being murdered or harmed. So, yeah, this story just really bothered me, just because it did take me back to those days of, like, me going out with my girlfriends and just trying to have, like, a girls' night out, trying to let your hair down. You worked all week. You're kind of like, we got to, like, kind of just let loose. It was a long week. And it should not end like this. So this is my series that I'm definitely going to be continuing just to highlight these behaviors and kind of try to give my tips for any ladies out there. If I can help even just one woman or one young lady or one girl, I have done my job. And yeah, so you guys ladies, stay safe out there. Don't take rides from these degenerate guys. Especially the way they looked. Ugh. Let me see. Don't they look like a nightmare? Look at that beard. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure they got them like seconds after, like shortly after they did this crime. So couldn't have been that hard to find them. They don't sound like the smartest people in the world. So I mean, they look like that, and you got in the car with them. That means the girls are probably drinking. I don't even know, but it's like, please have an idea how you're going to get home when you go out, and call an Uber. Like, don't, I think they said it was 4 women. 4 women can afford to pay for an Uber, and if you can't, you don't need to be going out. So look at this. Okay, so let me go ahead and read this. So this is Fox 5 News. So 2 men allegedly shoot at home of 4 women who accepted a ride from Seacrets in OC. So this is Baltimore. I don't know if they were from Baltimore. Like, I'm not sure why Baltimore is reporting on this when it happened in Ocean City and it ended in Delaware. But anyway, so it says 2 Maryland men have been charged in a shooting on Fenwick Island after 4 women accepted a ride home from Seacrets in Ocean City. Delaware State Police said the 4 women were waiting for an Uber outside Seacrets at about 2:43 a.m. June 25th, when 2 men offered to drive them home in a black Toyota Tundra. Girls, just stay with the fucking Uber. Please just stay with the Uber. Because if you're feeling cute enough to get in the car, but I mean, okay, so just stay with the Uber, because you're not allowed to change your mind. These guys act like they are entitled to everything, and no, you're not. You're not entitled to anything. You're not entitled to a whole woman's body, and then 4 women. Like, we already know what this was about. You're mad because they didn't invite you into the house and give you some sex. We already know what it is. We're all grown-ups here. That's what it was about. So it says the women agreed, but started feeling uncomfortable along the way and asked if they could get out, according to police. One of the women ultimately paid the driver $35 after a discussion about paying for the ride. So it's like they had the money. They were waiting for an Uber. Why did you get in the car to begin with? So now you're giving these degenerate clowns an idea that something's going to happen, and it's not. So I don't know if you got in the car and you thought they were cute at first. Like, you don't have to get in the whole car if you think the guy's cute. Maybe give him your number and say, hey, call me later, but we're going to take an Uber. And yes, that probably would have still made them mad, but at least they wouldn't know where you live. At least you're not in their car at their mercy, because they could have taken you really anywhere. This whole story just really disturbs me. So the 4 women were scared they were being followed and went to an undisclosed location before going home. They saw one of the males from the vehicle walking up to the door, then heard some kind of banging. I would have called the cops so quick. I'm sorry. So, okay. And look, these guys are not even, neither one of them from Baltimore, so it's still kind of weird. Anyways, it was later determined that the house on West Atlantic Street in Fenwick Island had been hit by at least 6 bullets. No one was injured. So they could have killed these women over what? And this is what I hate, how they don't go into detail about the story, because I'm like, what the fuck was the cause of this? And to be honest, I'm pretty sure it wasn't no cause. It was just the fact they were mad that these women didn't want to talk to them. And I mean, she even paid him. So it's like, you can't even be like, oh, you just used us. I mean, she gave you the money. What more could she do? You know, it's just not, it's like, no, it's not fair. It's not right. Women just be armed, be prepared, and please don't get in cars with strangers. Or I don't care. Even if you say, well, we met him. No, I don't care. If you met him that night, he's a stranger. 2 men, Andre J. Blakeney, 33 of Waldorf, and Finis A. Miles, 27 of Clinton, were taken into custody. That's terrifying to me. That is terrifying. Whew, okay, so, yeah, ladies, so hopefully you guys are hearing me. Hopefully you share this video, share this story. Please talk to your girls. Do not feel like you need to be a hero or a heroine or have a cape on or whatever for black males. Like, you need to keep yourself alive, because I'm seeing too many of these stories. They're extremely problematic, and it seems like this is like a going thing, and it's been like I said, it's been happening for decades, because it was happening when I was younger, and that was a long time ago. So young ladies, stop it. You're not too cute to be getting shot at. As you can see, like, you know, these guys don't have no damn sense. And you need to protect yourself. You need to protect yourself, whether it's being armed and making sure you have your stuff on you, whatever you need to have for yourself, whether it's a knife, mace, something, or take some self-defense classes. Like I saw something with an Asian guy saying, hey, he teaches women how to use, well, I don't know if he just said women, but he teaches people, because, you know, sometimes people can attack the elderly, children as well. So, you know, he teaches people how to use just everyday objects as weapons. And so maybe we should be all signing up for self-defense classes, because these men out here are losing their damn minds. I don't know if it's every race, but I know I'm looking at black males, and apparently they don't handle rejection very well. So we had to prepare ourselves for whatever might come afterwards, because to me, this is not a normal reaction. God should be able to handle rejection. Like, why are you overly fucking emotional to the point that you're shooting up my house and setting my house on fire? And they didn't even bring that up. All they brought up was like, oh, somebody shot the house. No, they also set the car on fire. So just be careful, ladies. And whew, yeah, wow, this story really bothered me. But you guys just take care of yourselves and each other. Like, share, subscribe. Hit me up in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.